Hi everybody, welcome back to another WeatherWord. I hope you're doing all right. It's good to see you again. Pulling for you guys one day at a time. Let's talk about the weather. The main story in the east is the cold front coming through the east. It's actually pushed off the east coast pretty much the entire coastline already as of late Monday afternoon. The real impacts will be tomorrow for a lot of places as the cold air gradually continues to filter in behind the front. And so a lot of places are seeing temperatures 10, 15 degrees below normal. Now that's not that weird for this time of year. They talk about normal. The thing is, it's fronts this time of year. So normal is above normal or below normal. Like when you don't have a front, you're 10 degrees above normal. When you do have a front, you're 10 degrees below normal. So maybe we have a bad idea of what normal is and we should stop throwing around we're 10 degrees below average. This is normal. This is fronts. Fronts are cool. When you're away from the front, you're warm, up and down. But going to be pretty cool here in Florida the next day or two. Not going to last too long. You see the fronts off the East Coast. It's out of the picture. The next system is already working together. Pacific Northwest, kind of Southwest Canada. The first low today. By tomorrow, it's emerging into the upper plains. New low developing into like Iowa. Tomorrow night becomes Wednesday, and so by Wednesday the front making it through the plains, the northern plains. It's not making a lot of progress. Like so many systems, it'll kind of get a second oomph. New low develops. That low down in Iowa develops, and that whole progression kind of keeps it going south. I often wonder, like, why does this low push southeast while this low pushes northeast? And I think it's just the depth of the cold air and how much warm air there is. I mean, it's something I wish we could answer with a simple question, like, oh, well, this means this front will clear us. It's not that simple. The atmosphere is complicated, but this front by Wednesday and then into Thursday, into Thanksgiving, it kind of gets a little more together again, starts sliding southeast, a little more unabated. Some rain, some thunderstorms along the front. Really not a lot with this system. It does look like by Thursday there may be a few storms in like Arkansas, Texas. I think it gets through Oklahoma overnight without too much of an issue. And severe storms wise, it doesn't look like too much right now. May see a marginal or even a slight risk in like Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, those kind of places if the factors come together, but nothing particularly saying it will. It's that time of year where each system, we'll see. Nothing looking like this is the big system. Honestly, it's not as strong of a system as the last one. It will continue after Thursday. Over the weekend, kind of push down off the East Coast, off Florida. So, well, most of Florida. Looks like most of the models bring it past Central Florida, maybe past South Florida. Not quite as strong as the last front, so not this deep cold air, but it shows the progressions continuing and the models in the long run continue that. Now, in between those two fronts, you have a high pressure over the east. It's what's bringing that cool air down from the north, especially tomorrow, Tuesday. Now, by Wednesday, it's a little weaker and it's a little further east, and so that cold airflow reduces a little, and by Thursday it's still around, but it's fading, it's moving a little more east, and so that cool air on the East Coast, it's not gone, it's just moderating. It's run out of steam, and so it's working. The next system's working closer. It's that up and down roller coaster pattern, and it's kind of past the peak and going back to warming slowly. So much with cold air depends on where the high pressure is. If the high pressure is to your west and strong, and there's a strong pressure gradient, a lot of windy north winds, 20 miles an hour or whatever, bring that real cold air down. Once that pushes east, then you don't have those north winds anymore. You have east winds or even south winds as the system comes around. So I think it'll be maybe as the week goes on, you get more east winds in Florida. That can be kind of rainy conditions off the Gulf, cloudy, or off the Atlantic, cloudy. We'll see. But the big picture, the big story is it's moderating. And then the next system later in the week, a little rain in the Pacific Northwest, shows there's more fronts coming. It looks like everything in the long-range model shows pretty consistent fronts. Little breaks here and there, as is normal this time of year, but nothing too crazy. Still not seeing much tropics or severe weather or blizzards or anything like that. This next system doesn't look to have a lot of precip with it overall. A few rain and storms in its little period where the low's a little further south and the cold and warm air kind of push together, and so you get a little rain, a little storms, and then as the low departs to the northeast, it looks like the rain and the thunderstorms fade over the southeast as everything pushes east. And so not a crazy active system. So that's what's going on with the weather. Thanksgiving travel looks pretty good. Few rain, thunderstorms, Tennessee Valley, Arkansas, Texas, Illinois, like Ohio, Indiana, those places, but nothing like a big travel nightmare, it doesn't look like. So hopefully the airlines have their stuff together with all the problems they've had this year, and people can get where they want to go. Looking at the Word, looking at life, it wasn't a good weekend for me again. Just I don't know. I mean, everything just piling up and just seeing you're in the same place and just running out of gas. So I hope that you watch this and you don't think I have it all together. I get comments from friends like, oh, you're so strong. Man, I wish I was strong. I wish I had it together. I wish I understood. I wish I didn't doubt God at times. But the thought that kind of crippled me this weekend was, what do you do? Everything's a plan. God has a plan. But number one, it's hard to see when you're back where you were, and the things you thought you'd beaten and the life you thought you found, they're not there anymore. They're not where they were. They're not what you thought they were. And it's so demoralizing. But number two, there was kind of like a more substantial thought. It's like, everything's a plan. Okay, I can understand people die as part of God's plan. Maybe an argument is God's plan. It can work into God's greater plan. I mean, you look at Joseph and his brother sold him away to slavery, and so that's a horrible thing. But God had something bigger in mind. But the one thing that's really hard is things of your own heart. When you doubt God, when you just give up, when you just don't feel it anymore, that's hard to say. God, I can see all these other things in your plan, but how can me being this way, how can you use this? How can this be good? I know this isn't how I'm supposed to be. I know I don't want to be this way, but I don't see any other way to be. And so that feeling, and just, I don't know, more than anything, a feeling like I'm an alien. I don't know if any of you, the rest of you feel this way. Actually, I kind of do. And I felt so alone in that feeling. Like, I don't work the same way everybody else does. And the things I care about and the things I want, nobody else gets. And I don't connect with people. And I don't have the right emotions at the right times. And lonely. And it was just not a good weekend. Nothing went well. My heart was just in the basement. And I didn't live well. And it's just, how do you go on? Somewhere along the way, God brought a few things that kind of like, hey, okay, here's some hope. Here's some little nuggets. And so I wanted to share those with you. First things first, like, there was a friend who posted song lyrics. And I'm not, he's like into like heavier rock, and it's not my thing, but it was incredible. It just like, it hit somewhere that, like, the lyrics he posted, those are things he's feeling too. That's why he's posting them and feeling them really deeply. And it's like that what you're saying, that's what I'm feeling. It's like, just to hear somebody else know what you're feeling, just to see somebody else who gets it, and so you feel like you fit in, you feel like there's somewhere for you, and that's not my place, but it's just like, to hear, and so much, it's like, I don't even know what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking. I'm a mess, a stupid mess. And to see somebody else put it out in words sometimes, and it can be a Bible verse, it can be a little like graphic, or it can be like song lyrics or video or who knows what. It can be all kinds of places, at TV shows sometimes. But to see somebody put it into words, to get it, it's just like, man, when you don't feel God and then somebody says, look, somebody themselves, they're doing it for the same reason you're feeling the way you are. You're broken, you're hurting. And to put it out there, and it's like that right there. So when Jason posted those things, it's just like, it was like, wow. Now, that didn't fix everything. I mean, okay, so 2 of us are broken. 2 of us are hurting. I mean, it's like, okay. It's like you're seeing at least, or there is seeing out there that you're not alone. I don't know. I still feel like an alien, like nobody wants me for me. And I get what he posted, because a lot of what he was saying was like, you have friends. You're not saying you're all alone in this world, but they're secondary friends. They're friends who encourage you and share some things together and pull for each other, but they're not, I've said this before, they're not your crew, they're not your people, they're not your home, your heart. They're not the type of best friend that's just gonna give up everything, all that's like, they want you, and they prove that you are valuable to them. Like, they can't envision their life with someone else. Just isn't the same. And that's not to say you're this amazing person, but just you're wanted. And so whether it's a best friend or a relationship, and that's a lot of times, I think that's where we're hoping we'll find our true, I get it. It's not like relationships are perfection and happily ever after, but you see it in some relationships. People who are just they're together, they're after it together, they're believing in each other, they're hoping in each other. A lot of it was just like the intimacy. You understand what the other person's thinking before they think it or before they explain it. And that's some of where I feel alien, because nobody gets my feelings or my heart, and I don't get other people a lot of times. And so I get what he's saying. Like, look, I'm not upset at the friends I have. It's just there's something more I need in my life. And so it was so uplifting, or so just like refreshing to see, like, hey, I'm not the only one who feels this way, who's at this point where they're just like, man, this isn't all there is. This can't be all there is. I need more. A passion, like, man, I need something. Where you're broken because your life just isn't right, but you know there's more, and you're not giving up on more, even though you've given up 100 times. So that was just like, okay, turning the corner. But then God put some words. And the one was a post somebody posted on Sunday, I think. It was 1 Thessalonians 5:11. And it said, wherefore encourage yourself together. Well, I have the King James Version here. I'll read the King James. Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. And the verse they posted was a newer translation, like an NIV or even a Living. It was encourage each other. And that I don't know, just the word encourage each other just hit my heart. Like, look, it's people, and it's what we're here to do for each other. God's saying exactly what you're hoping for, that you want people, and that people matter, and that you're supposed to pull for each other. And it's not just all what you can do, but it's something deeper. And I'll be honest, as I read it today, and I always had, this will happen a lot with me with the word, they'll be like, I'll doubt it, because I'll read another translation, or I'll read a translation, or I'll read one word, and I'll be like, well, does that really mean what I want it to mean, or hope it means? Because when I read the King James, it says comfort. And hey, comfort's not a bad thing, comfort one another. But then you go into the concordance, and it says the word can mean to admonish or exhort or beseech, and it can mean to console or encourage. But just reading exhort, instruct, kind of, it's like, oh man. And sometimes it just feels like the only answer is push harder. And I've said this before, and do more. And reading that, it's just like, well, is this saying encourage and pull for each other and lift each other up? And like, that's the good stuff. So is that not really saying that? Is God not really saying that? But I looked forward and saw it kind of like refreshed me, because I wanted to say, look, that comfort or encourage, sometimes that's, you got to tell people where they're messed up. You got to push people on. You got to call people out. And that's an important part of encourage, and one we need just as much. But it was like, hey, this is a part of it too. Feel for each other, pull for each other. Comfort, like hug, mourn, just uplift words, like positive words. And is the word really saying that? And I was like, I struggle with that. That's what you got to keep after. God, what are you showing here? Because I want to believe I want that encouragement that I think you gave me, and you got to be honest with it. But I love it. Okay, King James says in 11, it says, wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. And then it goes the next couple chapters, and it sounds harsher. It says, and we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord. And it just sounds like so critical and heavy and weighty. And then it kind of, and admonish you. It's like, oh man, it has that weight. Like, I just need to do more, and I'm just not okay, and nobody's pulling for me. And then you go to verse 13. Remember those people, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourself. Okay, we're getting somewhere, but then 14. Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly. Okay, I mean, that's the hard stuff. Is that it? And then right when it's like, I don't know, there it is. Comfort the feeble-minded. So it's not warn, it's something much more close. When it's feeble-minded, it's be there for them, lead them, help them as a brother. I mean, it says, brethren, we beseech you, brethren, you're our brothers. Support the weak and be patient towards all men. See that none render evil for evil unto any man. It's more than just tell people the right things to do. It's a real friend, a real brother. There's encouragement. There's help. There's strength. There's togetherness. We're in this together. And I mean, like, the thing that came to my mind when I first read this, before I questioned myself, is you look through the letters in the New Testament, and they're constantly started and ended with glowing friendship, glowing care, affection. Paul's caring about the people and blessing them and encouraging them and push on. And Timothy, the letter to Timothy, and the letter, and everybody, all the different letters are just keep going. So the words encourage and just, I don't know. It doesn't make me feel like other people understand me more. I play through my head the verses about nothing is, no temptation except this is common to man, and we know, brethren, that we are undergoing the same kinds of sufferings as others. And I don't know. They don't help when you're down, because you just don't see it. And then you see the word encourage, and you see positive words from people, and you see the words that say, hey, you can do this, or hey, I get you. And it helps. And there was a sermon on TV last night that really spoke to me, because it felt like they were talking to me. Like, some of the things, like, look, you've been discouraged, you've been down, you want to give up. But God's the God above all things. He is the King of Kings. He's over it all. He can do the things that you can't picture him doing. He can break the addictions. He can break the depression. He can heal you when you're doesn't seem like there's a way you can be healed. He can bring you out of something you've never beaten your whole life, and it just feels like there's no way. It can't be. It's just hopeless. It was a sermon like he was talking to me, and he was talking to us who are down. Like, we can do. We're not done. We're hoping in a God who can do this. It's a tough week. I mean, for me, and I think for many others, some others. I was thinking, the TV last night was celebrating how hey, it's the first Thanksgiving since COVID, and it reminded me first, like, well, my dad's not here. And it also made me think, like, look, it's kind of like they push the TV is like urgent, like, look how many people are dying. And then when it comes to a time like Thanksgiving, it's just like, forget that. Let's move on. Let's be happy. Let's lift you up. I mean, there's a lot of people who who don't have the family anymore this Thanksgiving. And I guess, somebody else posted, look, you've got to be broken to be empathetic to people, to be truly empathetic. That's what makes the empathy in you. And man, I get it. I mean, I didn't lose someone to COVID, but I lost my dad. And today it's an up and down week. I'm big on remembering dates and events and when they happened. And today's the day 3 years ago where it's the only Thanksgiving I spent by myself. And I came down to this Golden Corral and had dinner here by myself. Was alone the whole day. Wasn't getting along with my family. I'd had some friends that were new and special in my life, but they'd kind of gone distant. And other friends were casual. And yeah, I didn't have those close friends. The people that just like, man, I care about you. I want to, day to day. I had the friends that, hey, I care. And I love those friends. But there was a loneliness that Thanksgiving that was so rough. And so it's been 3 years since that, and it's been up and down, and now my dad's gone, and I'm thanking God that that wasn't the end of the story, that better things happened, that my dad was humble, and I was humbled, and things moved in life. And no, that wasn't the end. There was more to the story, and got me thinking, like with the God's plan, it's like there's so much worry in me, like I'm missing God's plan, I'm outside of God's timing. I want God's timing, but surely it's too late now. Surely I've missed it. Surely I've just messed it up too much. I've lost my trust in God. I've lost my hope in God. It's like, how can I keep going? Timing especially. And then I got to thinking, and like I beat myself up, like there's times in your life where you don't know what you're supposed to be doing and you don't make the right choice. And I remember when I was a kid, I got in trouble for something and I threw a temper tantrum, and it was such a bad temper tantrum. I was like 7 or 8. My dad said, well, look, after that, he said, look, or during it, I had these tickets I was given free to go to a golf tournament, and I was in love with golf back then. And I was going to take you, but it's too late now. And I didn't know what was going on. I was just living what I felt and doing the best I could, and I was really upset. And I tried and begged, come on, I'm sorry, take me. Didn't go, and it was just kind of this depressing feeling in life, like, man, I lost it. I didn't even know it was to be lost, or I didn't know what to do. I tried, and I've had other points in life where maybe I knew what to do, or most of the time I didn't know what to do, but I struggled, I was indecisive, I wasn't sure, and I didn't, and I lost it. And I feel like I've lost so many things because I haven't listened to timing. And so there's this big fear in me, like, you're going to miss your timing, you're going to do it wrong. And all these things recently, it's like, where did I mess up? Where was the time where I did things wrong? What could I have done? I mean, it's not the main thing, but with my dad, could we have got to the hospital sooner the first time? Could we have gotten to the hospital quicker the second time, or gone to a different hospital, or put him in a nursing home in Orlando instead of taking him down to Stewart? What could we have done? Could I have... There was the weekend before he died, we don't think it's a good idea, but maybe we could do dialysis or a long drain. And I said, well, we got to think about it a little while. And by the time Sunday came, the next day, I talked to my mom and my brother. We said, okay, we want to do it. And by then they said, it's too late. We can't do that anymore. And it was a different doctor. And she said, I'm not doing that. And it really was too late by that point. So you go, where did I miss the timing? I just keep failing, and I'm doing my best. And I got to thinking, like, look, on the timing of things in your life in the past, people who came into your life, things that happened to you, if they happen like 10 years differently, would it have been the same thing? You think of like a best friend you met in high school or college. If you'd met them when they were like 5 years old, or that you'd met them when they were 25 and their life was different and your life was different, would it have worked the same way? And a lot of me says, like, that comforted me somewhere. It's like, no, it had to happen now. And I don't get the future and how the timing's working out, because it just doesn't make sense. And I know maybe, I'm like desperate. Don't miss the timing again. And part of that is you just don't know what to do, when to do it. Sometimes you know, and sometimes I live in fear and don't do things when I know I'm supposed to. But most of the time it's like, I don't even know what to do. My friend posted like, look, it's your head, it's messing you up. And man, I get it. Not having people with me, it's like the thoughts just paralyze me. But I'm trying to look forward and trust. And somebody posted Romans 8:31. Saying, oops, don't ever trust camera batteries. When they say they're 3 bars out of 4, they're probably going to die any second. I'm learning that in life. But I'm going to finish what I was saying, because it's important for me to say. Like, my heart just screams to get it out. Romans 8:39 or 38:39 just so much encouraged me after everything else. It said, nothing can separate us from the love of God, neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor demons. And you can see the verse on the screen. I can't flip to it, and I don't know every part of it by heart, but it goes on, and it's just, for all the brokenness, for all that I don't understand, for all, it's like doubt. How can God survive doubt? And I don't have the answers. Like how God uses your just broken, like when you're at the bottom, how God uses that at that time. When you're saying to God, how can I be back here again? How could you have brought me back here and have a purpose in this? When you just kind of losing the faith in God. There's so many things, so many verses, so many people that admonish you, don't lose faith. And man, but that verse, it says nothing can separate us. If we've trusted in Jesus, nothing can separate us from the love of Christ. That He's forgiven us even our toughest things. I don't have all the answers. We can't be happy being confused or upset at God, but it's like He hears, He gets it. Because I didn't look up that verse. That verse came to me today. Somebody posted it, I think. He's not done. And I'm choosing to believe that. And it may be lonely, but I'm choosing to believe God has a bigger plan. And it's pushing me towards wanting people who are real and who really see me for who I am. There's people out there, so many friends have let me down. Like, you think they get you, and then over time you see they don't have a clue who you are. They don't really want you. And they'll say, like, over time they'll say the things. It's just like, you think I'm doing it because of myself? You think you don't get me. You don't get what drives me, what my heart is. You see what you want to see, and it's just like, man, I don't need friends like that. But it makes me all the more like, okay. It makes me yearn. It makes me hunger. It makes me want something better. So I want to say like what I usually say, like, look, there's a plan. Hold on. Better things are to come. I can't like say, okay, I see all those things. If you're hearing this, like, if you heard what I said, like, look, I don't have all the answers. I don't get it. But if you're struggling this Thanksgiving, or if you're struggling this year, if you're having those doubts, hey, please see this and see, like, I get it. And I don't understand either. But we're not done. It's okay to hurt that bad. It's okay to hurt that bad if you don't want to be that. Like, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to be broken and feel alien and feel like no one wants me for me. And to go to God and say, how can you like question God and say how and why? I don't think it's good to be doing that, but it's real. And so believe that nothing can separate us. Believe that it doesn't have to be that way. Want something better. Thank you so much to the friends that have encouraged me recently, and I can think of so many different people who like said something positive, something that uplifted, something that made me think, hey, maybe this weather thing is worth doing. Because I don't know, I've been very doubting on it this weekend. Like very like, you know, what am I really doing here? Who am I really helping? What difference am I making? I'm pouring out my life to people, and maybe I should be guarding it better. And I'm putting all this effort into weather, and for nothing, for such a minimal thing. But people uplift, people, past friends from or students from 10, 15 years ago say, they've watched this, and they say, they encourage, and they say how much I taught them. And it's just like, you know, maybe maybe not everything I did was hollow and worthless. And other people, they take the time to go out of their way after you think they're going to, and to say, hey, thank you for being there during the storms or whatever. So those people, the people who've sent me those things recently, the people who've encouraged me, thank you so much. You are the encouragement that Bible verse talks about. And let's keep encouraging one another, motivating, pushing, calling people out when we're called to, like, but not just an attitude of critical, and not just an attitude of, if you just try a little harder, you're gonna have it. Seen a lot of people post things to not say to depress people, and hey, I don't know, I don't love the post, because in a lot of ways it's pretty much anything, and you can't challenge anything they say because, well, you don't want to hurt their feelings. But sometimes we do need to be like, look, move forward. And sometimes it's also, I mean, I get it, it's okay to be confused by it, and to kind of just encourage them to put on a happy face and stuff like that. It doesn't solve all the problems, but you know, if you don't say all these different things to a depressed person, you don't say anything at all. And I think that's depressed people posting that. They're just like, leave me alone. I don't have it's such a dark alley when you're depressed, and there's not a lot, sometimes there's not a lot to be said. I love the people who say, the postings who say, like, you know, when somebody's down, you just be there for them. You don't got to say anything or do anything. Sometimes you just have to be there, and that's what an intimate, a close friendship, a caring friendship is all about. But encourage one another. Sometimes there's good things to say, sometimes it's being there, but I love that encouragement to encourage one another. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to the Thanksgiving still. I'm going to be with my mom and my brother and my uncle, and thankful for the people that are still in my life, and I'm going to make the best of them. I'm not going to stress over the people who choose differently and all the people who are shallow. You know, like I said, the timing works the way it was supposed to, and it'll take people out of your life that didn't really get you anyways, or weren't right for the time. And God's making things happen that had to happen that way. So hope you have a good Thanksgiving. I hope to see, I'm planning to post again on Thursday. We'll see. Didn't post this weekend. But I hope you have a good week. I'm looking forward. I'm going to my mom's tomorrow, and down to my brother's tomorrow afternoon. My uncle's coming the next couple days to get the family together. It'll be not the same without my dad. And coming here to this Golden Corral tonight to eat on the 3 years since I had to come here by myself, when we were so at odds, my dad, my whole family. It hurts because it's a reminder. Like I said, it's a full circle back. So it's like, how can I be back here again? And it's different. It's not that me and my dad are having a fight. It's that we're never going to have another conversation on this earth. And it's still sinking in. But it is different. And I know the last 3 years, God did some special things. And the timing was God's timing. It couldn't have happened a different way. So it makes me cherish family all that much more. And I hope just the little things, the football and the turkey and the pies, and just being around the table together. I'm glad for people, and I hope you have those people. And if you don't find something, go to Golden Corral, go out to a homeless shelter, go find somewhere to be with some people and celebrate what life is, and remember the holiday, even if it's not a holiday where you're really thankful and full of positive thoughts. But those are the times where we have to say, hey, I'm still just going. Like I did 3 years ago here. And this coming here didn't change everything, but I was memorializing just the whole event. I wasn't giving up on Thanksgiving. I wasn't just saying, well, I'm just going to be a negative person. I was saying, I really want the special stuff, and I'm gonna remember it the best I can. And that's what I'm doing this year, and that's what we keep doing. Friends, I hope everything's good for you. Message me if I can be of any help. God loves you. Nothing can separate us from him if we believe in Christ. Believe in Christ. Keep going. We can do this. Love you guys.